Yahweh said unto Moses, and Yahweh said unto Moses, come up to me into the mountain and be there. And I will give you tables of stone and a Torah and commandments which I have written, and you may teach them. And Moshe rose up and his minister, Yehoshua. And Moshe went up into the mountain of Elohim, and he said unto the elders, tarry ye here for us until we come again unto you. And behold, Aaron and Korah are with you. If any man have any matters to do, let him come unto them. So the Most High told Moshe to go over to the mount by himself. But of course, he did not go over to the mount by himself. He went with his mitzvah, what they would call his minister, Yehoshua. That's why he was ready to Deuteronomy, because in Shabbat, he was learning. But what if Yehoshua said, I don't necessarily need to go up there? He told you to go up there. You're going to be the one to lead us into the land. Would he have been ready in Deuteronomy? But he was there. Even when the people began to worship the golden calf, he was even training or trying to hear what Moshe would eat. And Moshe would check. He said, I think that's battle cries down there in the camp. He said, no. Moshe said, no, it's not battle cries. Those are cries of joy. So even in the midst of him being right there, he's still training. He's in training all the way up until down Deuteronomy, where the Most High tells Moshe that now you need to pass it on to Moshe. Would you have been ready? Or are you okay doing just enough? 2 Kings chapter 2. Second Kings chapter 2. Another king said, 2 Kings chapter 2, starting at verse 1. And it came to pass when Yahuwah would take up Eliyahu into heaven by a whirlwind. The Eliyahu went with Elisha from Gilgal. And Eliyahu said unto Elisha, tarry here, I pray you, for Yahuwah has sent me to Bethel. Elisha said unto him, as Yahuwah lives, and as your soul lives, I will not leave you. So they went down to Bethel, and the sons of the Nabiim, or the prophets that were at Bethel, came forth to Elisha and said unto him, know you that today Yahuwah will take away your master from your head today? And he said, yea, I know it. Hold ye your peace. Eliyahu said unto him, Elisha, tarry here, I pray you. Yahuwah has sent me to Jericho. And he said, as Yahuwah lives, and as your soul lives, I will not leave you. So they came to Jericho. And the sons of the prophets that were at Jericho came to Elisha and said unto him, know ye that Yahuwah will take away your master from your head today? And he answered, yea, I know it. Hold ye your peace. And Eliyahu said unto him, tarry, I pray you here, Yahuwah has sent you to Yardan. And he said, as Yahuwah lives, and as your soul lives, I will not leave you. And they too went on. And 50 men of the sons of the prophets went and stood to view afar off, and they too stood by Yardan. And Eliyahu took his measure and wrapped it together and smote the waters, and they were divided hither and thither. So they went too over into dry ground. And it came to pass, when they were gone over, that Eliyahu said unto Elisha, ask what I shall do for you before I be taken away from you. And Elisha said, I pray you, and let a double portion of your spirit be upon me. And he said, you have asked a hard thing. Nevertheless, if you see me when I am taken from you, it shall be so unto you. But if not, it shall not be so. And it came to pass that they still went on and taught that, behold, there appeared a chariot of fire and horses of fire, and parted them both asunder. And Eliyahu went up by a whirlwind into heaven. And Elisha saw that he cried, my father, the chariot of Israel, and the horsemen thereof. And he saw him no more. And he took hold of his own clothes and rent them in two pieces. And he took up also the mantle of Eliyahu that fell from him from back, and stood by the bank of the Yarden. And he took the mantle of Eliyahu that fell from him, and smote the waters, and said, Where is Yahuwah Elohim of Eliyahu? And when he also had smitten the waters, they parted hither and thither. And Elisha went over, and when the sons of the prophets that were to view at Jericho saw him, they said, the spirit of Eliyahu rests on Elisha. And they came to meet him and bowed themselves to the ground before him. So what do y'all see there? So once again, we have the aspect of the ministry or the minister of the Navi not wanting to leave his side, right? Not wanting to leave his side, even though he knew that that would be the day that he would be taken. He didn't want to leave his side. So a quick question before we go back to this. When did Elisha know that he was the replacement of Eliyahu? Did Elisha know that he was to replace Eliyahu?
I would say yes, since he asked for a double portion of the spirit.
Right. When was Eliyahu told that Elisha was his replacement? Did he even know of Elisha? When did Eliyahu know that Elisha was going to be his replacement? So the Eliyahu, was he told then when he saw him plowing, or where did Eliyahu get the instructions to even go seek the man that was plowing? You know he was plowing. So before that, so right, Eliyahu, 1 Kings chapter 18, he has a battle with who? Who did? 1 Kings chapter 18. Let's go ahead and do it. 1 Kings. 1 Kings chapter 18. First Kings chapter 18. We're going to start at verse 17. And it came to pass when Achab, or Ahab, saw Eliyahu, that Achab said unto him, are ye he that troubles Israel? And he answered, I have not troubled Israel with you and your father's house, and that ye have forsaken the commandments of God. You have followed Baalim. Now therefore send and gather me all Israel unto Mount Carmel, and the prophets of Baal 450, and the prophets of Asherah 400, which eat at Isabel's table. Right? So it's a showdown, right? So you drop down. First, the false prophets of Baal, the Asherah, they beating each other with sticks and stuff like that, bleeding, in order to get some type of reaction from their false deity. And then we drop down to verse 31, right? And Eliyahu took 12 stones according to the number of tribes of the sons of Yaakov, unto whom the word of Yahuwah came, saying, Israel shall be your name. And with the stones he built an altar in the name of Yah. And he made a trench about the altar, as great as would contain 2 measures of seed. And he put the wood in order and cut the bullock in pieces and laid them on the wood and said, fill 4 barrels of the water and pour it on the burnt sacrifice on the wood. And he said, do it the second time. And they did it the second time. And he said, do it the third time. And they did it the third time. And the water ran around about the altar, and he filled the trench also with water. And it came to pass at the time of the offering of the evening sacrifice, that Eliyahu, the prophet, came near and said, Yahuwah Elohim of Abraham, Yitzchak, and of Israel, let it be known this day that you are Elohim of Israel, and that I am your servant, and that I have done all these things at your word. Hear me, O Yah, hear me, that this people may know that you are Yah Elohim, and that you have turned their heart back again. And the fire of Yah fell and consumed the burnt sacrifice, and the wood, and the stones, and the dust, and licked up the water that was in the trench. And when all the people saw it, they fell on their faces, and they said, Yahuwah, he is Elohim, Yahuwah, he is Elohim. Now Yahweh said unto them, take the prophets of all, and let not one of them escape. They took them, and Elisha brought them down to the brook Kishon and slew them there. Right? So you have this battle. You have this battle, and Eliyahu does these great things, right? So then right after that, what happens? Who calls for the head of Eliyahu? Say that again? Who calls for his head? Who's his Isha? Cain. Jezebel says, may Elohim do more unto me. May do that and do more unto me if I don't have your head by tomorrow. So chapter 19, right? So Eliyahu runs off into a cave. So we're going to chapter 19, 1 Kings chapter 19. And we're going to start at verse 9. And he came thither unto a cave. So he's in, right? So he runs 40 days and 40 nights unto Mount Sinai, Mount Horeb. He came thither unto a cave and lodged there. And behold, the word of Yah came to him, and he said unto him, what do you hear, Eliyahu? What you doing here? And he said, I have been very jealous for Yahuwah Elohim Zabaoth, for the children of Israel have forsaken your covenant, thrown down your altars, and slain your prophets with the sword. And I, even I only, am left, and they seek my life to take it away. And he said, go forth and stand upon the mountain before Yah. And behold, Yah passed by, and a great and strong wind brake the mountains, and broke in pieces the rocks before Yah. But Yahuwah was not in the wind. And after the wind, an earthquake, but Yah was not in the earthquake. And after the earthquake, a fire, but Yah was not in the fire. And after the fire, a still small voice. And it was so, when Eliyahu heard it, that he wrapped his face in his mantle. And he went out, and stood in the entry of the cave. And behold, there came a voice unto him, saying, what do you do here, Eliyahu? And he said, I have been very jealous for Yahuwah Elohim Zabaoth, because the children of Israel have forsaken your covenant, thrown down your altars, and slain your prophets with the sword, and I, even I, am left, and they seek my life to take it. And Yahuwah said unto him, go, return on your way to the wilderness of Damascus. And when you come, anoint Hazael to be king over Syria. And Yahu, the son of Nimshi, shall you anoint to be king over Israel. Elisha, the son of Shaphat, of Abel Mekolah, shall you anoint to be prophet in your stead. And it came to pass that him that escapes the sword of Hazael shall Yahu slay. Him that escapes the sword of Yahu shall Elisha slay. Did I have left only 7,000 in Israel? All the knees which have not bowed unto Baal, and every mouth which has not kissed him. So, was Elisha even known unto Eliyahu when the Most High told him that he would take his place? No. Verse 19. So he departed thence and found Elisha, the son of Shaphat, who was plowing with the 12 yoke of oxen before him, as he said. And he with the 12. Eliyahu passed by him and cast his mantle upon him. And he left the oxen and ran after Eliyahu and said, let me, I pray you, kiss my father and my mother, and then I will follow you. And he said unto him, go back again, what have I done to you? And he returned back from him to the yoke of oxen, slew them and boiled their flesh with the instruments of the oxen, and gave unto the people. And they did eat, and he arose and went back to Eliyahu and became his mitre, or his minister. So we read all of that to go back to the question of, did Elisha know that he was the replacement Eliyahu? No. He just knew that this was a mighty man. He knew that he was a Nabi. The Nabi at that time, it shouldn't go ahead past. The Nabi at that time, and that he put his mantle on me, so I must go and minister or work under him to serve him. But then at the end, as I said, he asked for a double portion. So two things, right? So one, are you asking the Creator, are you that close to the Creator, right? Or are you asking the Creator to prepare you for whatever it is that he's asking you to do? Have you asked him to give you your portion, double portion of Eliyahu, because Elisha had more work to do? So has the Ruach moved on you to ask him for what you need? And are you even aware that the people that are around you may be preparing you to be in their place, and you're unaware of it. But because you may not take it seriously, because you may not think that this walk actually is the same walk of our forefathers and forefathers you lack on or you slack. So then how can the Most High put you in the seat where he would need you to be if you're not there? How can he prepare you if you're not there? How can he teach if you're not in class? Are you just hoping that your preparation comes while you're sitting in your house? No. But are you just, or is the Most High putting you around people that you should be walking beside, but because of your own intellect of who you think you are, or the lack thereof of you thinking of who the Most High has called you to be, you're not going to be in position next time. Let's go to 2 Chronicles chapter 29. Let's read. I mean, that 2 Chronicles chapter 29. 2 Chronicles chapter 29, and we're going to start at verse 31. Say hello, y'all, you God. I'm reading from the Savior. It should be 2 Chronicles chapter 30. But no, chapter. Oh, this is a secret. We're going, we're in verse 31. So 2 Chronicles chapter 29, verse 31. Everybody in? Okay. Hiskiah and said, now ye have consecrated yourselves unto Yahweh. Come near and bring sacrifices and thank offerings into the house of Yah. And the assembly brought in sacrifices and thank offerings, and as many were of a free heart burnt offerings. And the number of the burnt offerings which the assembly brought were 70 bullocks, 70 bullocks, 100 rams, and 200 lambs. All these were for a burnt offering to God. And the consecrated things were 600 oxen and 3,000 sheep, but the priests were too few, so that they could not flay all the burnt offerings. Wherefore their brethren, the Levites, did help them till the work was ended, and until the other priests had sanctified themselves. For the Levites were more upright in heart to sanctify themselves in the priests. And also the burnt offerings were in abundance, and with the fat of the peace offerings and the drink offerings for every burnt offering. So the servants of the house of Yah were set in order, and the Hiskiah rejoiced, and all the people that Elohim had prepared the people. For the thing was done suddenly. So what do y'all see that is very strange? What do you see there that should be very strange? Could be two things. One matches the other, but what do y'all see there that is very strange?
The priests make that.
I'll go over here.
The priests were too few, so they could not fly the burnt offerings. So their brothers, the Levites, did help them till the work was ended, until the other priests had sanctified themselves.
So what's strange about that?
They also were more upright in heart.
Kind of, that's the second part, right? So the Levites who are supposed to minister or to help the priests, the Kohanim, they are more upright in heart to sanctify themselves. They took it more serious than the priests did. But the strange part, the very strange part is who's supposed to do sacrifices? Not the Levites, right? The Levites, if they were to do sacrifices, especially in the house of Yah, they are to be what? Killed. But because the priests, the Kohanim, were not in position, those who were already in position, who had taken it seriously, they were able to continue the work of those that they shouldn't even be in their steed. So that's like somebody who's just in the White House, now all of a sudden, the fifth in command, you know, they got a lot of hierarchy, you kill off a couple of people. So the eighth person in command, now they are now president. Are you prepared for that, or are you just thinking that everybody ahead of you is going to do their job? So I don't have to really take it as seriously. I don't have to do my due diligence with the Creator to make sure that I'm ready for whatever comes. Because for whatever comes, whenever He calls me, I'm prepared. It said, verse 36, and it kept me out to rejoice in all the people, the Elohim had prepared the people. The Most High prepared the people for what was to come when Hezekiah came in place. So it's like the heart's desire is to do this for the Creator, but the leadership is not ready yet. But when the leadership is ready, now you're ready to jump in the place that you should have already been in, that He was preparing you for the whole time. But because you didn't know, or because you didn't see what He was preparing you for, you didn't take it seriously. Shabbat day is a set apart gathering. That's the command. It's a feast day. The first feast day in Leviticus chapter 23 is not Pesach, it's not unleavened bread, it is Shabbat. Every 7 days you have a feast day. That is not optional. It's not something that you can just chill on. It's a day of rest from everything else. But outside of that, you are to gather with the people. Because what if the Most High came back on that Shabbat? You're not with the people that you should have been gathering with, so you missed it. When the virgins had to leave the group that was ready and go get some oil, when they came back, it was too late. Because you weren't prepared. So now that you're not prepared, now you got to go get prepared. But only those who are prepared are going to be able to be chosen. Few are called, many are called, or few are chosen, because those who are chosen were prepared for it. It's like you come into a classroom and the teacher gives you a pop quiz. Only those who've been doing their homework and doing the readings are going to be prepared for it. You can't prepare for a pop quiz during the pop quiz. That should have already been accomplished. So if you didn't do it, your grade will signify how prepared you are. The Most High is only going to choose or put something within you, or He's going to skip over you. But you may be the key. You may be Yehoshua. What if Yehoshua wasn't ready? Now, who's going to lead us into the land? Because Moshe can't go. So then what are we left with? Now we got to wait another 40 years for one of them to get ready? Because you didn't take your job seriously? When there is no one else, will you be there? Ezekiel chapter 22. Again, this life that He has us in is not something that we can just breeze through. It will be different if we were already in the land. It will be different if we were already set up with the tabernacle, the Most High in our midst. You can chill. So no one had a time of peace because everything else was already done. We are not in a time of peace. We are in a time of work. Ezekiel chapter 22, verse 30. In fact, we'll start at verse 28. So Ezekiel, your cousin 12, 22, 28. And her prophets have daubed them with untempered mortar, seeing vanity and divining lies unto them, saying, thus says Adonai Yahuwah, when Yahuwah has not spoken. The people of the land have used oppression and exercised robbery and have vexed the poor and needy. Yea, they have oppressed the stranger wrongfully. And I sought for a man among them that should make up the hedge and stand in the gap before me for the land, that I should not destroy it, but I found none. Therefore I have poured out my indignation upon them. I have consumed them with the fire of my wrath. Their own way have I recompensed them upon their head, says Yahuwah. Because you thought, Shai Shamar thought that Jay was going to do it. Well, Jay thought that Kayil was going to do it. Well, Kayil thought that Eve was going to do it. But I thought that you were supposed to bring the chicken, G. It wasn't me. Now, Uziel, you were supposed to be in the gap. Uziel thought Azariah was supposed to be in the gap. But the Most High said nobody in the gap. So now what? Everybody get destroyed. Because now one person thought it was their job. Everybody thought that, well, I don't think it's on me to do. Most High didn't ask you that. When Moshe said, well, who am I to lead the people out of Egypt? He didn't even answer that question. Moshe said, well, no, you Moshe, remember I had you in Pharaoh's house? He didn't say none of that. He said, I'm with you. Shut up. I didn't ask who you were. You should know who I am. Yeshayahu chapter 63, Isaiah. Isaiah chapter 63. Starting verse 1. Yeshayahu 63, starting verse 1. Who is this that comes from Edom, the dyed garments from Botcher? This that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save. Wherefore are you in red apparel, your garments like him that treads in the wine fat. I have trodden the wine press alone, and of the people that were there, and of the people there was none with me. For I will tread them in my anger and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain on my raiment. For the day of vengeance is in my heart, and the year of my redeeming is come. And I looked, there was none to help. And I wondered that there was none to uphold. Therefore my own arm shall bring salvation unto me, and my fury that held me. I looked, and I wondered, and there was no one. Everybody is passing the buck. Well, Adam, what did you do? Well, it was that woman. Well, what you do? Well, it was a serpent. Serpent, what you do? I guess I got it. 1 Samuel, chapter 17. When will you step up and take responsibility? When will you step up and be in the gap? When will you step up and understand that this is not a game, but that the Most High is calling, beckoning for his soldiers, all of those who are willing to stand up, to stand in the gap. 1 Samuel chapter 17, starting at verse 8. 1 Samuel chapter 17, starting at verse 8. He cried, he stood and cried unto the armies of Israel, and said unto them, why are you come out to set your battle in array? Am I not the Philistine? And ye servants to Shaul? Choose you a man for you and let him come down to me. And if you be able to fight with me and to kill me, then will we be your servants. But if I prevail against him and kill him, then shall ye be our servants and serve us. And the Philistine said, I defy the armies of Israel today. Give me a man that we may fight together. When Shaul, King Shaul, and all Israel heard these words of the Philistine, they were dismayed and greatly afraid. Now David was the son of an Ephrathite of Bethlehem Yehuda, whose name was Yeshai, and he had 8 sons. And the man went among men, for an old man in the days of Shaul. And the 3 eldest sons of Yeshai went and followed Shaul to battle. And the names of his 3 sons that went to the battle were Eliab, the firstborn, And next unto him, Abinadab, and the third Shabbat. David was the youngest. The three elders followed Shaul, but David went and returned from Shaul, feed his father's sheep at Bethlehem. Let's drop down to verse 24. And all the men of Israel, when they saw the man, fled from him and were so afraid. And the men of Israel said, have ye seen this man that has come up? Surely to defy Israel is he come up. And it shall be that the man who kills him, the king will enrich him with great riches, and he will give him his daughter and make his father's house free in Israel. And David spoke to the men that stood by him and said, what shall be done to the man that kills the Philistine? And takes away the reproach from Israel? For who is this uncircumcised Philistine that he should defy the armies of the living Elohim? And the people answered him after this manner, saying, so shall it be done to a man that kills. Drop down to verse 32. And David said to Shaul, let no man's heart fail because of him. The servant will go and fight with this Philistine. And Shaul said to David, you are not able to go against this Philistine to fight with him, for you are but a youth, and he a man of war from his youth. And David said to Shaul, the servant kept his father's sheep, and there came a lion and a bear, and took a lamb out of the flock. And I went out after him and smote him, and delivered it out of his mouth. But when he arose against me, I am caught by his beard and smote him and slew him. Your servant slew both the lion and the bear, and this uncircumcised Philistine shall be as one of them, seeing he has defied the armies of the living Elohim. David said, moreover, Yahuwah, that delivered me out of the paw of the lion and out of the paw of the bear, he will deliver me out of the hand of this Philistine. And Shaul said unto David, go, Yahuwah will be with you. Drop down to verse 45 and 47. Then David said to the Philistine, you come to me with the sword and with the spear and with the shield, but I come to you in the name of Yah Sabaoth, the Elohim of the armies of Israel, whom you have defiled. This day will Yahuwah deliver you into my hand, and I will smite you, and take your head from you, and I will give the carcasses of the host of the Philistines this day unto the fowls of the air, and to the wild beasts of the earth, and that all the earth may know that there is an Elohim in Israel. And all this assembly shall know that Yahuwah saves not with sword or spear, for the battle is Yah's, and he will give it into your hand. David was less than 20 years old. How do we know that? How do we know that David was less than 20? Okay, okay. And what else? So he was a youth.
Can't go down.
How old you got to be to get into the military? 20 years old. So David was not even able to get into the armies. Well, all of Israel, including the king, was shook of the Philistine, but it was somebody who was qualified, but not qualified to do the job of the Most High. Qualified because of his faith and because of what the Most High has already done for him in his life, but unqualified in the sight of the nations because of his age. So what is the Most High qualified you for in your life that the nation would deem you unqualified for, but you have to do the job that nobody else is able or willing to do? Or are you going to wait for somebody else to step up when there will be no one? If David was not there, Israel would have went into slavery to the Philistines. In front of the army and the king, everybody had to bow down to the Philistines until a little boy came. Only qualified because of his faith in the Creator. And because of his duties throughout his lifetime that the Most High was prepping him for. But what if David would have let that sheep go when the lion came because he was scared? Or he would have let the bear go ahead and take the lamb because it's a bear and I'm 16 now, so I can't fight the bear. He would have never went up to the Philistines. But he took his job seriously. Whatever job that the Most High gave him, he took it serious enough to now the Most High can see that, well, if you trust me with them, I know you'll trust me here. But if you don't trust me with this, how can I expect you to trust me here? If you kicking and screaming when I bring you in 2 feet of water, imagine when I bring you in the ocean. You're gonna pass out. If you kicking and screaming when I bring you in front of this small congregation, how you gonna be able to talk to the youth? Jeremy, I said, I am one of you. Most I said, what? I don't want to hear that. Because what I place inside of you, child of a priest, I place that inside of you from birth. So what I place inside of you, you will manifest. When will you step up? Or do you think that just being here or lack thereof is good enough? The Most High call for much more. Call for perfection. He called for complete and utter faith, recklessness when it comes to faith in Him. He didn't just ask you to be Israel. He asked you to be He who reigns as El. All I got. No, he's on his way yet. Fortunately, I'm sorry, 3. But it's called told. We can talk about this even more. But so over the floor, what do y'all think? Questions, comments?
So basically, it's up to you.
Up to you for what?
You said the question was, how do you know you're ready?
No, I said, when will you step up?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Step up. That's whenever you're ready, I guess.
But how do you know that the concept is like, right, while you're, this one about it now, but while you are in your position, right? For example, this is what she got on that. Jay is military, right? Chief, Yosef, chiefs. What the Most High is placed you in that position for a reason, in order to translate those skills and abilities to deal with the house of Israel. He tells us, you don't tell us. He tells us that you be dealing with these big babies in the military, that you gotta hold their hands on and so forth, right? So how does that translate to now dealing with these big babies in Israel?
Like, are you ready or not? You're here.
Dang,
That's gotta get that.
dang. Nobody got time for you to be quiet. We got, listen, you put on this uniform, you in this position, we need this and this done. You work with crazy, I ain't gonna say call crazy, I'm gonna call them challenged children. You work with people that you gotta wrestle, that's gonna come against your authority, who don't believe that you deserve to be in a place that you're in. Sounds quite familiar to what we at now. So your skin has to be thick. You have to be able to deal with these people and let them know that you are here, you ain't going nowhere. Same way, yeah, that story you tell about the boy in the gym. I'm always remember that. But okay, the same way, you got to deal with these people out here. You got to deal with Israel, other people who are going to be in Israel, other quote unquote those who have attached themselves to Yah, who want to usurp authority. That's on you. What has the Most High placed in you is the whole thing. What is He training you for? Or do you even know the skills that are being sharpened within you? Do you have to talk to people all day? Do you got to lift strenuous things? Maybe you're going to be building. Do you deal with herbs and you do all of that? Okay, maybe you're going to be healing the people. What about studying? All you do is study. Well, maybe when these books are going, we're going to need to know what thus saith the Most High is. And you happen to have memorized Ezra. The Most High is not asking for you to just be here. There are many other people. There's people downstairs right now who about to fall down the CGF Bourget, and they cool with that. But y'all up here. So what's the difference? What's the difference? Why did He wake you up now? 2021, pandemic, all this other stuff going on. Why are you here? Morehead and I said, I love what he said. Your mama called you from upstairs, come to the door. You're happy that you're at the door because you answered that call, but you never asked what they called you. Any questions online? Y'all told before? Who's, I don't even know who was it. Azariyahu, Moran, Shalom.
Shalom, shalom. Two great lessons in one day. I definitely have to give you much props. It's very insightful with everything that you're bringing forth, and it definitely brings forth some reflection. So I say Toda Yah for your life, More. You truly are just allowing me to continue just to look within myself to see the things that I need to work on, that I may be a better contribute to the nation, and to be what the Most High has called me to be. But I have to first start from within. So Toda Yah for the lesson.
Hallelujah, hallelujah. I told her about you, Aki. Hopefully, sis is doing well. Everybody doing well down there. Of course, we miss y'all up here. Shalom.
Change. Looking forward to September. Shalom.
All right. Shalom, shalom, Deborah.
Shalom. Oh, look at you. Look at you. You got so much gems in that brain of yours. Look at that. Toda so much. We're just here, just listening to your lessons, and we're just enjoying the Shabbat out here. But thank you. You are hitting gems that me and my Ish have been speaking about all week, and it's just confirmation through the Most High. Thank you so much, More.
All right, hallelujah, hallelujah. Shabbat shalom. So we're gonna do this whole lesson again. Shabbat shalom. Maria, you good? Uzi, you good?
I'm burning over here. I'm burning. But Kane, Toda. Kane.
All right, so we're not gonna go throughout the whole thing, but this Darlene, what are you ready for? Where is the Most High prepared you for?
A lot of change. Humble and change. That all lie with the Most High. But it's humbling though. So I'm ready to receive the change that you're trying to show.
So do you think that he's prepared you already for that?
I mean, in a sense, I may not notice it, but I'm pretty sure every situation that I've been through or went through the fire and certain things prepared me for to do what I'm saying.
Thanks. That was the lesson. How about you? How about you? What's the Most High prepared you for, and do you think that you're prepared for whatever comes next?
I think that
Best aspect of that is to know where you are, right? So some people think that they're not qualified when the Most High says that you are. Some people think that they are qualified when the Most High says you need to sit down. And then there's gonna be some people that are where they need to be at. So the best thing to do is always seek the Creator on, like, where do I need to be at? Like, I was COI and stuff like that, arguing with the Moraine and having, disputes, so on and so forth. All of that prepared me to stand on my square and study. Then after that, then the week is whatever was going on with him, they get kicked out. So now we're doing lessons at a park. And then each situation goes into your here. But if I wasn't preparing, or the Most High wasn't preparing me and I wasn't trying to take it seriously, there is no way I would have told you that you need to come out. But now the Most High has switched that, and now he's asking y'all, what is he tugging on your heart for? You feel it, you just don't want to listen to it. You know what he's asking you to do? You know the road that he's leading you into, you just don't want to say, I'm here. And because you don't want to say you're here, the same way that we didn't want to say we're here for in the wilderness, now you got to walk around 40 years. Now you're going to go through cycles in your life where the same thing keeps coming up. The same job at a different company keeps coming up. The same skills that you used when you were 16, 17, now you got to use in your 30s and in your 40s because you didn't want to answer it then, but you're going to answer this call. And if not, then guess who's going to have to answer the call? They are. My dad ran. He used his mouthpiece, all honor to him, not making light into him. He used his mouthpiece for manipulation. So now everything that was supposed to be on him has fallen upon me, firstborn. Everything that's on you two is going to fall on Aubrey. And more importantly, it's going to fall on Justin. Your firstborn, your firstborn, your firstborn. Aaliyah, now Abimelech, Yirmiah. If you don't answer it, your seed will have to answer it. And it's going to be harder for them to answer it because not only do they have to work out through their own mess, but now they got to work out through the mess that they have inherited from you. I saw my daddy run from it, so now I can run from it. I saw my mama keep ducking and dodging it, so she never took responsibility. She never took the mantle, so I don't have to take it. And it's a perpetual cycle of walking in the wilderness. A place where you're supposed to get in order so that you can be presented and established. But if you never get in order, now you have to die there. Most High is very simple. He said, choose life or death. And then he said, choose life. He gave the answer. It's an open book text. Any questions, any comments? I'm not listening. I'm kind of talking all day. I'm not going to keep talking to y'all. Y'all not talking. Joint conversation. You know. We say,
Could you expound on that part about, you said you had to pick up after your father?
yeah, I had to take up after my father. I come from a lineage of preachers. I found this out when my grandmother on my dad's side. So I had preachers in my line, but then my grandfather wasn't necessarily with it, so he died young. My dad knew about that, but he didn't want to go there. He wasn't the Bible type, you know. He's a God in a sense. He is God. His living forever is through his lineage, which is true, but no. So now the preachers who knew the Christian version, now eventually somebody in that line had to come here. Somebody in that line had to start teaching this. And because my dad didn't want to do it, I ain't got no choice. Well, I could have read it, but I don't have a choice. So the same way that is the case, the same way that the Most High is going to place whatever is in you, your DNA has a lineage, right? Your DNA is your lineage. Your DNA also has specific skills and things within you that were in your forefathers in the wilderness. that was in Abraham, that was in, there's something in you that was back then that has to manifest now. Because, okay,
On the father part, I was thinking that area. So it's interesting. I want to say interesting because when I left for the military, I knew that things were going to be different, like as far as spiritually, because of all the places we're going to visit and all this stuff, right? So while I was deep in my Christendom, I seen a lot of stuff that's like, wow, I got a Christian life now, like church, seeing the Black Jesus in the cave, and going to what do you call it, the Pope at the Vatican City to see the actual Black pictures of where it was underneath where the coffins was. So they'll go by the coffins and they'll come up to the stairs, and that's where it is, and they'll come up. So that's what we saw in the toilets. Again, they always come to me to keep fast forward, and then when I go through the Navy, go through my time and learning and this and that. Still part of the church, but now I was in a position where, man, I know all these things, I'm keeping to myself, right? Until the Most High put me in a position where I say, this can't be held back no more. And then I do my own research, and then boom, then I go back to my father at the military service and tell him who I am, who I do. And he goes, boy, you know what? You know, Mr. English, that's his best friend, the professor in Tampa, I think he was, you know, he's an Israelite. And he would always tell me, Sylvan, you know, these things are important for your sons. It's important for your sons. They need to know the realness of it. You know it. You need to pass this on. This is my father telling me this. So, and he was giving me this conversation after our first place, I guess, you know, while we was all dressed in white and all that. So when I reached over back to my father again, you know, he asked me, he was like, so son, how's everything? First, shalom. Let me say that first. But is everything okay? You know, you walk okay. But the Hebrew thing is still, that's your thing, right? I was like, not a thing, guys. This is a way of life. I'm sold to this. This is my way of life. This is what it is. He goes, why? I still can't fathom that my son would be into something of the Bible, but I was taught about this, but you know, it seemed like you went ahead and took the extra steps. That's coming out of his mouth. So then I said, well, Dad, you know, maybe the Most High might have me take the extra steps to what you should have did. So now he's using me, I'm of your seed, to remind you that this is not a joke. And he goes, but you know, I just trusted in God, and you know, he's working, you know, this. I was like, all right, cool. Now, exactly now I'm going forward to my seeds now. Now the biggest thing is now I'm going through a thing with my oldest son, where she's saying, and me and my son talk, he's like, you know, Dad, unless you know that mommy not gonna let you see me unless you get vaccinated. I'm just letting you know right now. And I told my son, physically and spiritually, why I don't believe in doing that vaccination. And all the vaccinations I have received while I was in the military, all 16, 17 years. And he's like, you know, that makes sense. Because I asked him, I said, well, what's the benefits of it? What do you know about what you take? I don't know. You sound like me when I was in the military and told me walk down the line and take 11 shots. I didn't know. I just did it. Now I'm taking pills for whatever. You see what I'm saying? So it's a, like I said, that's a change, it's humbling, but it all has to do with the father-son, because it's affecting my relationship with my father, and him not seeing him, and me not seeing him. So it's like a gap in between the father, son, and the grandson, and the youngest son being able to, 4 generations being able to meet. So, you know, it's like a humbling change. And it's like, you ask yourself, you know, I'm doing this for the Most High. But people don't realize when you say you're doing something for the Most High, most severe, they endure the most pain to stay 10 toes down. So I love y'all right there.
That's what people don't want. They don't want the affliction that comes with the preparation. When you taking those steps, you are the redemption of your family. Like especially when it comes to the man being the first one, and even the women also can redeem their family. Like Rahab, she redeemed all of her family by her standing in the gap. By her standing in the gap, two spies said, all right, bring everybody into your house. Your house is safe. Lot, even though the craziness went on afterwards, Lot was the salvation of the redemption of his family. So it only takes one to redeem the family, but who's going to be the one to argue as the one? There were scriptures, I'll get you the scriptures. You know, don't have to do it. Just for everybody else to say. But the questions were, would you be ready? Would you be ready if the Most High told you that it is time for you to leave the nation? Have you asked him to prep you, or are you just praying?
Can you repeat that question?
Would you be ready if the Most High told you that it is up to you to lead the nation? In the sense of Yehoshua, so maybe not the nation, maybe we'll have it on that scale. If the Most High said, all right, well, I'm not gonna be here for a month, I need you to lead Shabbats. I need you to teach 4 weeks in a row. Joseph, Uzi, Azar, y'all gotta teach 4 weeks in a row. David, when you come, Shay, G, when you come, y'all gotta handle this Shabbat. It's on y'all. Would you be ready?
I can make a comment to that.
Okay, like David. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Not to, I guess you say, throw out the obvious answer, but I think those that are put in a position like that, I don't think anybody's ever ready until they just walk it. You have to experience it first to even know that you're even ready. I think those that proclaim that they're ready, they're not ready. So it's quite the opposite for those that are like, nah, I don't think I can handle it, or nah, it's not, I'm not a real fit for this position. And we see that throughout scripture, we see that throughout life. And come to find out, those are the ones that are probably most qualified.
Be a reader.
I said it's the willingness in the heart, not the readiness of preparation. Like, if you are close to the Creator, then whatever He calls you to do, of course you're not gonna want to do it, you're scared. But because of your relationship with the Creator, you're just like, hey, okay, go with me. It's kind of one of those moments where, like Deborah, Barak had to go to war, but it was like, all right, I'm gonna go, but you're coming with me. It's kind of the same way that we should be with the Creator. It's like, yeah, I'm not ready, but if I know that you're going with me, then I'm going.
More like a message for Moshe,
That what you are most afraid of, that what you think is too big or bigger than you, that's probably what the Most High was told you. Yirmiyahu, I need you to talk to the next. Now I need you to do this. That's what the Most High has themed you for. And are you prepared to help those whom you don't think need the help? Which is where Levites help the priests. Are you prepared to help those whom you don't think need the help? And when there is no one else, will you be there? Those are the questions. When there is no one else, can the Most High count on you? At least you. It won't be enough to save the city. You say, need about 10 to save the city. But if I got you, then at least you can warn the people so that you can get those who are with you out. Hey, it's It's better that than on the floor. But, so, one more time, I'll open up the floor again. Any questions or comments? G, you good? She probably thought that I was at most I knew she was coming today. Here for you. I promise I wasn't.
It's good to get a spiritual woman. It's good.
What's up with you and Uzi and all these spiritual books? Nobody just giving these spiritual books.
You don't know that though. You don't know that.
Yes, you is. Yes, you is.
Okay, well, I'll let you out because I gotta get it first. We're gonna just pass that. Come on, you ain't said not one question today. I need some questions, comments, some answers. Huh? Oh, no, okay, no. You did answer a couple questions, but what you got for us here? Okay, well, what next, you good? That's I'll definitely let you know. Jay, you got any questions? You pondering?
No, I do got a I think that it's important, when we talk about preparing, that everybody's in the mindset, like, we don't want this to stop. We don't want this walk to stop, like you said. What if somebody has, like, we could go or a house, hope for somebody to come along. Like, we have to already be in that mindset. Maybe you're doing little lessons at home to say, I'm ready to step up if I need to. So you already have to be operating like that, there, or be ready for it. Or you gotta be operating like that, or even thinking like that, think ahead, think about what might happen. And just let the people wonder who is. Somebody gotta say I'm ready. And doing little stuff at home, so I think I'm ready.
Yeah.
And with the Most High, he'll help me the rest of the way.
Like what Yosef said, I think all of us, as even when we came into this way, right then that opened up the doors of potential to even, cause think about it, when you have the Shabbat, right? Give me your time to prayer, but the most important part is filling each other out. How are you? How was your week? What did you not? What scriptures did you read? Da, da, da. So where we are all at, I feel confident that if you were sick or something that had to go, and be like, hey, y'all decide who wants Shabbat. I have a feeling we would have Shabbat. I think we'll have Shabbat, and it won't be just like yours. It just have its own uniqueness to where a fulfillment, whatever was needed, the Ruach HaKodesh is going to lead its way while we move. Wherever which one of us is at. Because wherever one of us is at could be something big for the next person to have an idea.
Show up.
Hmm?
Yeah,
If they show up, so it's like,
If we show up.
if David's not here, people ain't gonna show up. They're like, well, he's not here, so what we showing up for? So when you're saying about having a Shabbat, like Jay was saying, it really needs to be in your mind that we don't want it to end. But if everybody is in their mind, like, oh, okay, we're just gonna hang out, then the hangout don't happen because the party started right here, you know what I mean? So it really is a mindset. What is your mindset coming into the Shabbat?
'Cause I remember when, that was back, maybe like, well, that could have been almost 2 years ago now, where, we got to a fender bender on the interstate, and I was in jail maybe for like good
Oh, wow.
3.5, maybe 4 hours on a Shabbat. And my aunt Azar and they came, help my Isha. I wound up having, being able to get out of jail. But I was worried about the aspect of us not being able to have Shabbat. So I was like, I have no idea who's gonna teach Shabbat. I ain't called nobody, I ain't told nobody nothing, and I don't know. It's not necessarily about me, but regardless, like Jay said, what are we gonna do? This, all of us, right? Like, I'm not sure if the Hawks won anything last night. I wrote the Suns, right? The Suns, they are powerful because you got Devin Booker, you got Chris Paul, you got DeAndre Ayton. You have different people that you have people that you can rock with, as opposed to, or like Kevin Durant, they out. But anyway, he was kind of by himself. And then James Harden only had one leg pretty much. So the team was depleted. So Kevin Durant had to play all 53 minutes, and at the end, he started airballing because he was tired because there was nobody else.
And you would think it would be somebody else on the professional team.
But it wasn't. Kobe Bryant, right? So Kobe Bryant, he was somebody was talking about what he said, and he was like, they asked him, why don't you pass the ball, right, in the game? And he was like, I see the same people come into practice 5 minutes before it starts, and as soon as it ends, they leave. I don't respect their work ethic. Why the H should I pass them the ball in the game?
It's not, they don't mean it. It's when coming was a job.
You just come and go. You don't want it like I want it. And at the end of the game, I want it. So why do I need to pass you the ball? If I know that you don't do it like I do it. You're not studying, not what I'm studying, but you ain't studying at all. So why would, if we gotta go and talk to anybody, we gotta go minister to anybody, why would I call you as my first option? So when they ask you a simple question like how many sons of Israel are there, and you don't know how many sons of Israel, now that's just blanket. Hope everybody offended. But still, if you are, study. Because that's what the Most High is going to require of you. Chief, you're not just going to go and pick out anybody. You know the person that's always late, and the person you're gonna be like, I do it myself. I'd rather do it myself because I know what to get done. If I call on you, probably ain't gonna show up until I'm done anyway. So I'd rather take that 5 minutes and just do it myself. The Most High say the same thing. I look, I didn't see them. I was doing myself. Talking. Anyway, somebody said something online? Y'all good? Yeah, all right, this time I'm really good. Any other questions or comments? Also, everybody good? Listen, I don't know what's coming, but something's coming. And if the children of Israel want there to be what the real was supposed to be, everything else. And then we do get to share with everybody. Like the aliens are coming. I'm telling y'all right now, aliens are coming. And when they are coming. But no, seriously,
that's what they say.
They are coming. These what they call aliens, these demons, they will manifest. When they manifest, we're supposed to be the quote unquote Avengers, the X-Men. We are the heroes. I know you laughing. No, I'm so serious right now. We are I don't know who the Hawk is, it's probably not we, but Dr. Strange, I'm telling you, there are those people. But we are seriously the ones that everybody else is going to be looking for. If we're not here, and we think. So that being said, hallelujah, took our lives to the Most High, told you our attentiveness. That's that. So, a couple questions. Well, a couple announcements. One, July 17th, we've been asked to come out and fellowship on a Shabbat with sorry, name on him again. This time he called you by name that way. So, July 17th, so we'll be out in the park. They all have to come down from New York again. So they want us to participate in Shabbat with them.
It's still in Chesapeake.
Yeah, the park is in Chesapeake. July 4th, I know some of y'all won't be here that weekend, but we're still going up north to Richmond to the fellowship with Maury Samat and Maury Lamar.
That's a Sunday, right? That's July 4th, it's a Sunday.
Yes. Yeah. It'll be one of the show. And today, I know we still got about 2 hours left, but I want to know if y'all want to go bowling. We got passed for the yellow bean, they can go free.
Today?
Yeah, later after Shabbat, maybe around 7 or 8 squares. Kicking and go bowling, because Uzi decided to leave again, so we gotta catch him while we can.
Another 6 months?
No, I don't know where Uzi is going. You gotta catch him. He like when?
He just got back.
I said, don't ask no questions.
What do you say?
Don't ask no questions. Okay, so I mean, if y'all with a week no bowling, it's not a spot so you can go get the family, tell them that they can come outside. Hey, Uz, you remember I was telling you earlier about bringing Isha and your children and they can come outside the house?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, now I'm telling Glenn the same thing. Same person who said y'all got kindred spirits because he think he getting beats too. Your Isha and the yellow baby come outside. I promise I think you've been here long enough to where you know that we all good. But yeah, so if y'all want to go bowling, can we go hang out, please? Anyway, can we stand and pray out?
Isha.
Don't mind. Hallelujah! 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 Our King, our Redeemer, our strong tower, to whom we run to and our safe, our shepherd, our healer, our creator, our power, our salvation. Yahuwah Zabaoth, we give you nothing but honor, praise, esteem, allegiance, and all of our love with all of our hearts, soul, and might. For you are the reason for our being. Your word, which lasts forever, which endures forever, Abiyah, may it be within us, that we manifest it in our everyday lives. That this is not something that we take for granted, Father Yah, but you have stripped it away from our forefathers and our foremothers. You discontinued us from our heritage. You cast us away and turned your back toward us. So this is not something, Abiyah, that is a guarantee, but it is a privilege, Abiyah, to know your name. It is a privilege, oh Yah, to be in your way, to know your culture, to know what pleases you, Father Yah. Allow us to not just know, Father Yah, but to do. To walk it out to where it is pleasing in your sight, Father Yah, that you may see, that you may hear, that you may remember, and that you may know this generation. That we will be the generation that you redeem, Father Yah. That our children may not have to go through what we are going through, but they may be in a place where they are free, where they see the love of Elohim, where they see the power of Elohim manifest before them, because we have put the work in. Because unless you build, Father Yah, the builders have labored in vain. Unless you watch, the watchers have watched in vain. So strengthen our hands, Father Yah. Increase the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, even in this Knesset remnant of hope, but throughout the four corners of the earth, in every Knesset, every assembly, every household, every part, everywhere that there is somebody calling on the name of Yahweh, or Yehovah, or Yahweh, Yod-Heh, Wah-Heh. All of those who are calling on that name in spirit and in truth, and no other Elohim with no deity around you. May you hear us, Father Yah. May you redeem us even from the uttermost parts of the earth. That we may be your people and you shall be our Elohim. That the nations may see and the nations may be astonished that the people that were once at the bottom, the people that were called no people, are your people. Toda Rabah, Father. Rukata Yahuwah. Ruka Shem Yahuwah. Ruka Baba Shem Yahuwah. Blessed are you, Yahuwah. Bless the name of Yahuwah. And bless he who comes in the name of Yahuwah. Hallelujah.
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 Hallelujah. All right, so we definitely try to go somewhere, even Mariah, you know, Mariah, try to come up. That can drop down. Yo, Steph. Hey, Manaya. Hey, baby. Hey, area. Hey, yeah.
Look at the baby.
Ooh, look at that boy. Look at that boy.
That's the first
Ooh,
time.
look at that boy.
Oh God, that's the first time I've seen.
First time, man.
I came and
Dude, naked.
What's up, everybody?
Why he looking at What do you say? Did you see the little one?
What you say,
She
Ian?
said,
I mean,
Dad, did you see the little one?
Well, this is
huh?
No, did you ever see the little one?
Yeah.
He did? Okay.
I'll see y'all. I'm gonna call you.
Shalom. Okay. Hey, Shalom, Yosef, and Nazar Yahu. Shalom.
All right, shalom.
Deborah, Shalom.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
We're going on this side of the water or? Hi, Chief. How you doing? I was telling you, my first time seeing you. I almost forgot what they look like. I got it. You got the reserve? You reserve? Oh, you're in the reserve. Oh, they're not, you got the full time.